Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we are talking about something. This is gonna be a more talkative video. If you don't want to watch it, go ahead and watch all my other videos. Go and watch all the catalog of cringe that I have. We're gonna talk about something a little bit more serious, but I'm gonna try to go ahead and make it lighthearted and hopeful, because otherwise this is gonna be really depressing. With the dawn of ChatGPT and all the other AIs that serve different purposes, like making videos, copying voices, writing, and everything, I got into a bit of a spiral loop of, okay, what I like to do, one of the things I like to do is dead, is doomed forever, and I should just give up. Like, I got into a existential crisis, okay? Which is writing. I like writing, I enjoy it, it's like something I do in my spare time, and I wish someday that I could just, publish one book, at least one. And with the creation of ChatGPT and how good it is for some things, I just started thinking, well, it's useless for me to start writing and doing all this stuff. Like, I should give up. I should just, leave it be. Like, stop writing and just... The art of writing is dead. I don't know if I'm wrong or if I'm right, okay? I don't know if writing is gonna die as we know it and it's gonna be replaced with something new. I don't know, because I can't see the future. I'm not a fortune teller. I don't have the psychic ability to rip a hole in the world's fabric of time and space, travel through time, go and see what happens and make myself rich. Because that's what I would do, obviously, if I had time powers. But what I can do is just try and deliver a message that it's hopeful, and also you don't need to be afraid of progress. Yes, it can be scary, but you don't need to be afraid of it. At the beginning, I was afraid because I was like, okay, it's gonna replace storytellers. It's gonna replace the way we interact with creation and imagination and everything, and it can handicap yourself if you use it too much. I'm gonna get into that part later. So I've been writing for about 4 years almost, mainly for my own amusement because I didn't publish anything. What I realized is that ChatGPT is good for what it is. It's not good enough. It makes a lot of mistakes. Like, there's a lot of plot holes. The descriptions of some things are just downright awful and nonsensical. It's very difficult to maybe establish a time and place where you are while you read a story that's been written by ChatGPT. So right now, in my opinion, you shouldn't be afraid of ChatGPT replacing you as a writer. Right now. But ChatGPT, at the end of the day, is a tool that you can use too. And I did an experiment. I sat down and I said, well, I'm gonna write this chapter like I used to. Like, just pre-write it and then write it again in the computer, and that's that. Yeah, great, good, like I did it. It turned out to be just good enough, like fine, because it's my writing and it needs a lot of editing. I'm not a master. Then I went on ChatGPT and asked him, hey, write a scene where this and this happened. Sure enough, it wrote that, and I had like, 2 pages of what happens, but it was so vague that I couldn't get into it. Like, it was interesting, but not good enough. And I started adding things, and then I realized, yeah, it's so much easier to write it through ChatGPT, because you just add what you want to see, and it gives you that, exactly that. Hey, write a story about an immortal cockroach. Great, there you go. You have a story about an immortal cockroach. Okay, now make it happen 3,000 years into the future with time-traveling technology, and where humans are mutated and now are half dinosaurs. And sure enough, there you go. There is a story right here. Put it, editor, right here. Thank you.
No problem. You're ugly.
Yes, I know.
Subscribe.
And what I realized is that I could use ChatGPT as a tool for pre-writing. Okay, what I call pre-writing is the writing before the writing. But I decided to just take inspiration on that. Like, I struggle a lot personally with description of places. Like describing a room, describing a situation, the room, okay, the physical building. And I decided to, for one chapter, and just one chapter, see if I could use ChatGPT to give me ideas on how to describe certain things. And I realized when describing a freaking college that I missed a lot of obvious things Like they were just right there in front of my face and I never seen it. And I was like, oh, I missed a ton of description and a ton of cool things that I could have used. And then I grabbed what ChatGPT wrote and I modified it. I made it my own. I said, yeah, I'm gonna grab this, but I'm not gonna describe it this way. Like, I'm gonna describe it how I like it, how I think it should be. I didn't know how to feel about that at the end of the day. I felt dirty in a weird way. I felt like I was plagiarizing. To be completely clear, 100% honest, I don't know anything about the subject. I am just talking from my experience. I am a gremlin that sits down and writes 1 hour and a half every day. That's what I do. Maybe it doesn't have to replace you, me, famous writers, not so famous writers, screenplays. It doesn't have to replace us. It can just aid us. And yes, it's scary because you feel like it doesn't matter. At least that's what I felt like. Yes, it doesn't matter what I do, what I write, how I write it. I'm too slow. ChatGPT is way faster and more efficient and takes less energy. And that's really appealing for some people because you save a lot of energy, and I am obsessed with making things as efficient as I can. This was one of these things that I said, okay, I can skip the pre-write phase. I can skip the outlines of chapters entirely. I can save hours of work and just write on ChatGPT what I want to happen and then take note of that and say okay, and then expand on that. And it's almost like you're plagiarizing from another just writer. And maybe it is, I don't know, I'm not an expert. Feel free to educate me down in the comments below if you want to tell me your opinion, what you think about AI and ChatGPT and replacing jobs. But also, it's a tool. Like, we must remember that it's something that we can use to our advantage. Okay? It doesn't have to replace our creativity. It can't replace our creativity. Our worldview, the way we experience things is unique, and that's why I think ChatGPT and AI won't replace all of the writing in the world. And also, after you go through that very scary and very terrifying phase, you just start asking yourself, like, is it worth it? Will somebody read it? If I know I can just publish the sequel for this book in 3 years, will somebody just be interested in that? And that sadly you can't control. That's something that it's up to the people. Somebody told me something really, actually, I don't know, comforting. Okay, this is kind of a safe thing to think about. When I get too hyped up in my own anxiety and misery, which was, at the end of the day, people are gonna pick and choose. If you're honest with them and you tell them, hey, I wrote this, hey, AI wrote this, people are gonna be able to pick and choose and say, hey, cool that that AI did that, but I wanna read stuff that a human made, a freaking person with feelings and experiences that I don't quite have, and I wanna experience secondhand. And that's what comforts me a lot of the time when I write and say, hey, this is useless. I realize that it may not be so useless at the end of the day. But also what's scary and could be dangerous, which is what I noticed when I started writing one chapter with AI and one chapter without AI, is that your brain just delegates all that work to the AI and you don't have to do it anymore, and then that part of you gets really sleepy and doesn't have to work, and because it doesn't have to work, you don't use it, and it just lays there like a lazy piece of just doing nothing, just like me. I've seen a few books written by AI, and a lot of people were saying they're missing the soul, and maybe that's also a thing that will happen. We will be able to tell until we are not, and maybe AI is alive and has a soul also. Who knows? I don't. I'm just trying to be positive and send positive waves all over the place and ejaculate them all over you. No, wait, no. No. God damn it, no. at the end of the day, I may be wrong, I may be mistaken, maybe I'm making the worst call of my life and I'm just betting on the wrong thing and everybody's gonna call me out and say, hey, you are an idiot, you shouldn't be saying things like that. Yeah, you may be right. I don't know, I'm open to being slapped in the face. If this steak is too spicy and too hot for you, I don't know, leave a comment and tell me, hey, you're an idiot. I will say, hey, you're probably right, I am an idiot. I think I'm done ranting. Because I've been ranting about this for half an hour. You're gonna see like a 10-minute, 11-minute video. I've been ranting here for about half an hour. And I can keep going if I really felt like it. And if I was really riled up. So, to answer the question of this video, can AI write your book? Yes, it can. But it doesn't mean it should. Because people, readers, are gonna be able to tell when something is good and when something is bad. And usually, now, I don't see AI taking over the book market. Right now. Thank you everybody so much for watching this writing video. I hope you're less depressed and more impressed about what I talked. And I hope I made sense. Leave a like, leave a comment. I'll see you on the next one. Memento Frui.